yes, we do have the newspapers in front of us. This is our news review segment. A lot going on in Mother Ghana. I told you the issues, they're very, very meaty this morning. I hope you sharpened your teeth so that we can firmly sink them into these matters. Of course, the issue of Sami Jemfi v. Agrada and all the money issues, they simply are still lingering in the air. I'm sure Sixtus would wish that we turn our attention to some very, very pressing issues because Galamsey is still happening. If you check out 3news.com, the police have arrested some over 200 persons, seized 99 excavators in a nationwide anti-Galamsey operations. It's almost as if the excavators, we are planting them in the ground. How many excavators can one small West African country have? So many excavators. Hey, every day we are seizing excavators. We are arresting people. 200 today, 100. Hey, the cells must be so full up.
But the excavators, they don't have wings, right? They don't just fly from the country of origin to the forest of mining, right?
That's right.
They pass through some routes, right?
Indeed.
Those routes are guarded, right?
Of course.
They're protected and sometimes patrolled, right? Loads and loads and loads of checkpoints, police, immigration. The other one is what? SEPS and immigration are really same. We have them, customs. Customs is what I'm looking for. We have all those checkpoints. I remember my last trip to Wa. They stopped the bus and asked all of us to produce our Ghana card.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the intention is. To prove you are a Ghanaian traveling in Ghana, to prove you are a Burkinabe sneaking into Ghana, to prove, I don't know.
But you had your Ghana card on you.
Oh, yes. So I always work with one form of identification or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, for a country that has more police, or let me say security checkpoints than there are policemen to man them, it is surprising that we still experience some of those. We see the influx of illegal mining equipment that we see. And what is even more irritating is the expression of shock and surprise anytime we find these things at places they shouldn't be at. I mean, we cannot say that we didn't know. Because at every point, at every port, there is always a heavy presence of our security. So how is it possible that we have excavators and the other one is the Shamfans? That one is my favorite. Or they are locally assembled. I don't know.
In fact, if you go on 3news.com, you see pictures of some of them, some a bit bigger, some smaller. It would have been in 2021 where on River of Fingwe, there were about 800 Shamfangs. There was a picture to go plenty on one river alone.
Yeah, that's on one river. So, I mean, I am surprised that we are surprised that these things are where they are. Because, I mean, if you move at night, Helen, if you move from Rich Roundabout to Madina Zongo Junction at night, a typical cool evening from 9 p.m.-ish, you are driving from Rich Roundabout to Madina Zongo Junction, you will encounter not less than 5 police checkpoints. 5.
That's right.
Not less than that. From UPSA Junction, for those who know the stretch, that's from the Penn side. So Business School, University of Ghana Business School, the new site. From that one to UPSA, I think there are about 2 or 3 police
about that.
You see how short that stretch is?
Yeah.
But there are like 3 checkpoints you would encounter.
You're right.
If you are moving from where again? as for my stretch, I fought with the police before. The Dodowa stretch. Charlie, as early as 5:30 a.m., the checkpoint is active. There was a morning, it's like 2 years ago. There was one morning, 5 a.m., the traffic had built from where the Frafraha Melcom is.
Okay.
For those who know the stretch. From that point to Rowi Junction. That's like from roundabout, Rich roundabout to say 37.
Yeah.
It just an estimation. As early as 5:30 a.m.
And that is a busy stretch.
And that is a busy stretch.
Very, very
because that
hectic
whole stretch is dormitory settlement.
Yes.
You have a lot of people who live on that stretch but work in the heart of Accra. So people are moving from Dodowa. In fact, even beyond Dodowa. I learned very recently that people move from Kong. That's Dodowa. The name of after Dodowa, there's another popular. So people move as far as from Kong to Accra to come and work and go back. So if you mount a checkpoint at that time, people, they woke up early. Somebody woke up as early as 3 a.m., 3:30, 4 a.m. to be able to get to work early enough. Then you put a police checkpoint that creates traffic. And it's not anything you check. That's always my point. It's not when you eventually get to the checkpoint, the policeman is there flashing the light like this and waving you on. Or you just say, oh, apome, Boko. That's all. So really, what's the essence? So internally, people are being frustrated in terms of movement. They are in a hurry to get to work, and there's a checkpoint that is frustrating them, adding to the traffic and all of that. And amidst all of this tight security and protection, I mean, maybe for our safety, we still have things slipping through into places that they shouldn't be. It is, I don't understand.
That's a good point, Sixtus. With the amount of visibility or police visibility that we have, checkpoints and so on and so forth, you wouldn't expect some of these numbers. Let me get into a little bit of that story. There's a regional breakdown of the items retrieved by the police. Now, the story is on 3news.com. Police arrest 208, seize 99 excavators in nationwide anti-galamsey operations. Now, the Ghana Police Service has intensified its crackdown on illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey. I'll give you the breakdown as per the regional police command's data. In the Western region, 19 suspects arrested, 3 excavators, 3 pump action guns. It almost goes hand in hand, Sixtus. Whenever these arrests are made, you find some excavators, you're surely going to find some guns and ammunition. Upper West region, 7 Ghanaians arrested, 11 chamfangs, your favorite, and 3 motorbikes seized. Eastern South region, 24 suspects, including 1 Burkinabe, arrested, 5 excavators, 3 single-barrel guns, 1 pump-action gun recovered. Western Central region, 85 suspects arrested. Of that, 76 are Ghanaian, 9 Chinese. We hope all the other nationals don't end up getting lost in the crematorium. 11 excavators and additional exhibits retrieved. Eastern North region, 15 suspects, including 1 Chinese arrested. You have 4 excavator control boards and 9 monitors, and also a pistol seized. So that is what makes up the 99 excavators, 3 bulldozers, 4 pump action guns, 3 single barrel guns, 1 pistol, 11 chamfangs, and several other items. And Sixtus, you also find in these raids drugs also being sometimes parts of the items received. It almost goes hand in hand. You see the levels at which this galamsey is going. Guns. I mean, it's It's not one to toy with at all.
So what happens when the forest is depleted and the gun is still fit for purpose? What will they use the gun for? So, I mean, it's beyond a galamsey conversation. That's in respect of the gun and ammunition matter that we find, the guns that we find at galamsey sites. It's beyond the galamsey problem. And we had that conversation here, I think 2 weeks ago or so, when we were talking about the influx of weapons at galamsey sites, how they relate to conflict areas. Is there a trend? Do we see some of these guns finding their way into conflict areas, or do we find people, or is the other way around? The guns are moving from the conflict zones into the galamsey zone, or there's no correlation at all? Either ways, our society is becoming there's too much gun in the system. I mean, growing up, I'm not sure I ever saw a gun.
I see.
I mean, village boy, why are you seeing the gun? The one that they used to kill the monkey and the antelope. That probably is not really a gun.
You never saw a hunting gun?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But beyond that, now you are seeing all sorts of sophisticated weapons, and sometimes you ask yourself, how much is the cost of this? Look at the cost of living or the income levels of the people in the areas that you find these weapons, and you ask yourself, really, where are they coming from? Who is behind them? Who is financing it? Who is trading and making money off the backs of these people?
Sticking with 3news.com now, this story is also very, very topical. Eduboahen case. Leaked memo was a warning to national security, and that is coming from his lawyer. Atachia. A lawyer for Kwabena Eduboahen has disclosed that the leaked memo written by the former Signals Bureau director detailing various expenditures during his tenure was to advise the current National Security Coordinator to draw attention of the AG and Dioko that they are treading on and these were his words, a slippery slope regarding how this matter is being handled. Now in court, on Tuesday, May 11, that's yesterday, Samuel Atachia noted that his client will not hold back on divulging national security issues to gain his freedom, since he has been left with little to no choice. According to Atachia, in the early hours of Tuesday, the Economic and Organized Crime Office rearrested and detained Kwabena Eduboahen over another charge. Now, this one has to do with some internet services and procurement of gadgets and equipment for Ghana Water Company. And Sixtus, I was listening to Bright Simmons over the weekend, weighing in on this particular matter and its peculiarities, because I believe that the impression now is being created that under the umbrella of national security, monies can be disbursed without any recourse for a higher authority or any recourse to Parliament and so on and so forth. And I think he laid it out quite clearly that is simply not the case. That is a national security issue, or you're a director for a specific national security entity, does not mean that it's a free-for-all and that, you can disburse monies, move it about at will. There are rules, laws, processes, procedures that govern anything, any monies that we move around the country. But for many people, that is the perception.
If it were the case, how did we end up with a memo detailing expenditure? How did we end up with that if, because it is in the name of national security, expenditure could be made at will without recourse to any procedures or standards or accountability measures? And the very fact of, let me just tie this headline on the front page of the New Publisher newspaper. It says that Ghana's state secrets may go public. Lawyer warns over rearrest of Eduboahen. And I'm asking myself, are there no rules about how state public secrets are protected? I mean, every public sector officer, and particularly for those who work in places that, open them up to all sorts of secrets and state information that should not be. They are bound by certain codes. They are bound by certain oaths that they swear. Your oath of office does not terminate with the expiration of your term of office. You are bound for life to keep those secrets. So if maybe in the name of fighting for your freedom, you go about spilling secrets that you shouldn't spill, I believe that the law should be able to deal with that as well, and the law has provisions for that as well. And in any case, the courts have also laid down procedures and processes too, and in determining what constitutes state secret. If, for instance, in the course of this prosecution, there's some sensitive information that borders on national security, the court has ways and means of hearing that information or that testimony or taking that evidence without necessarily spilling it or publishing it because you think that it is the only way to save your freedom. I don't know whether it is honestly the legal strategy to
I was going to say, as a legal strategy, what say you?
No, that it cannot be the strategy. It cannot be, because the venerable Appiah is seasoned. He's not just a lawyer. He's one of those people you may want to call the lawyer's lawyer. And he knows that you can't just go to court and stand in open court and start citing, quoting documents because they prove your case. There are some that have to be taken in camera.
Shall we listen to him directly, and then when we come back, we can dissect that? Because you say that cannot be the strategy, but in listening to him, it appears that that is the strategy. He says it's a caution to Iyoko and a caution to the AG. It's not a confession, he says. It's a caution. Take a listen.
The last sitting, the judge ordered that he should have his freedom yesterday. And they said they have another matter that they are investigating concerning him. So when he was supposed to have his freedom, by their calculation, they released him midnight and then rearrested him on the basis of the newfound matters they were looking at. But the question is, in the period in which he had the freedom, why didn't they deal with the matter? And they'll leave it till midnight and rearrest him. Is somebody very excited that incarcerating another Ghanaian with all manner of tactics will aid justice? And that is unfortunate.
So is he in the custody of Iyoko right now?
He's gone back to Iyoko, and I'm going there now for me to come to terms with what is the new matter, what is the new issue. You see, because he's been there all this while, and if there were serious matters of consequence, and he's on bail, huge bail, 80 million Ghana cedis bail. He's living nowhere. Adubuain's name and that of Angela, they are all over the nation, our borders and our airports. They are going nowhere. So I believe that we should come clean that this is not a personal vendetta. This is a man that you believe you have some criminal case against, and give him space to defend himself. I give him also the freedom that now the Supreme Court has decided that there's no case which is not bailable, including murders. Provided always they will exact on you conditions for you to appear before the court to defend yourself. So I do not think we are going to rewrite the criminal jurisprudence of Ghana because of one man.
This fresh arrest, does it include the wife and the third accused person?
I am not sure, who are involved, and I'm going to find out from them what it entails, and I'll be able to address it.
Do you know the matter in which he's been arrested for?
I've been hinted that it relates to secured internet services for the benefit of another state institution, the Ghana Water Company. That national security provided them with gadgets and well-meaning things so that if you are even in your room, you'll be able to see the pipes, whether they are not being tampered, because national security surmise that water is a national security matter. When your water is polluted, it will affect the entire nation.
So, Council, last week, a leaked letter that Edubuahin authored was released in the public domain. How does that, from the details of that letter, how does that affect your case?
Well, it was unfortunate that it leaked, because the letter was intended for the National Security Coordinator, in which he was trying to let him know that where he is, national security matters are being raised. And, he should come to terms with it. That's what he was trying to do. He was not saying that he's afraid to defend himself by saying that they are pushing him in areas of national security. And when pushed to come to shove, he has to defend himself. And somebody will turn around and why is a national security intelligence officer trying to bring into the public domain national security matters when he's sworn an oath. So you swear an oath, the national security will not come to your aid, so you go to jail. That would be unfortunate.
All right.
It will be a tragedy that cannot be calculated. So that was the intent of the letter. The letter was not supposed to come into the public domain. He wrote to the coordinator, the successor national security coordinator, to look into the matters which, unfortunately, Attorney General and Yoko are pushing. Are they pushing national security matters into the public domain? And if he should respond to those matters, are they not going to turn around that he has breached his oath of secrecy and the rest of them? You can't slap a man twice. It's unfair.
Lawyer Appiah, are you citing secrets to defend himself?
He has no choice, because why should a man be found guilty when he's innocent and when he's dealing with national security matters? So when a man is faithfully helping national security to have the sanity of the nation, why should he go through what he's going through? I thought national security will look into these matters and probably have a good conversation with Yoko and the Attorney General that we are treading on slippery slope. And that's where we are. It's a very dangerous path we are going. Nobody will be ready to serve national security. If he's serving the national security and there's a regime change, they'll bring you to court to come and explain how national security monies were spent. Who's going to work for national security? So the immunity they have is of no consequence now. And these are some of the ramifications we should take into account.
Since the release of this letter, has there been any further engagement with the prosecution or
matters that people got offended? So the new coordinator should look at what is placed before him and advise himself and the powers that be.
3FM 92.7. Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
And that's the voice there of lawyer Samuel Atacha. He's lawyer to Kwabena Edubuahin, whom together with two others, Mildred Donko and Advantage Solutions Limited, are facing charges of 11 counts of offences, including stealing, money laundering, defrauding by false pretenses, and willfully causing financial loss. Well, in the latest development, the AG is looking to slap or has slapped some new charges on the embattled former Signals Bureau director. And he says that he's going to sing, if you will, if this case is not truncated. His lawyer describes it as a political witch hunt and says who's going to work for national security if their immunity counts for nothing. Also, apologies for a lack of Johnny's Bite this morning. There's no Johnny's Bite this morning. We apologize for that. All right, Sixtus, we talk about...
I don't think...
Sixtus, the mic is very far away from you. In a different jurisdiction.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. All right, we can hear you now.
No, but he made a point that the letter or memo was addressed specifically to the successor. So the question I'm asking is, how did it get into the public domain? If it was addressed specifically and probably handed over directly to the successor, at what point did it leak into the public domain? Because from the submissions of the Honorable Atachia, it sounds convincing that the intention was not for that memo to have gotten into the public space.
Right.
Some way, somehow it did. At what point? By who? Have we found out those ones? Because it's a very dangerous thing that is happening. And he also talks about immunity as a public servant meaning something. I agree. I mean, we should all, the moment the state contracts you to do something, there should be a reason why you would give it your all and your best, to say that I am going all out in the execution of my responsibilities, my duties, and the tasks assigned me, because I know that these will not come back to haunt me the moment I leave office. It should count for something. But like you pointed out earlier, does that mean that you have a free road, a free pass, you have a blank check, you act as you please? And I'm not saying he acted as he pleased. You see, these are the general questions that we are asking.
Right.
That if indeed, as a security officer for the state, you are guided by certain protocols, as much as you are protected by same protocols or other protocols, it should go hand in hand. It shouldn't be that you are guided, you take the guidance, but you are not protected.
Right.
You should also be protected. That I agree. So, like I submitted earlier, it is possible to bring up these cases, these national security matters, in court in his defense. What should not be accepted is throwing these secrets about in the public space because we are talking about the defense of the person. And he also talks about, and that's another conversation we've been having actually, about the rearrest of his client. You know, there are a lot of lawyers call them tactics and strategies that are employed and deployed by security people when they are investigating you.
Right.
And Helen, you never feel the pinch of it until you get into the hot waters.
That's right.
When you have been arrested and you struggle to get the bail that you are entitled to, executing that bail becomes another problem. The moment you succeed in executing it, then there's another one out. They say, oh, you self, we are looking for you in connection with this other one, so we are rearresting you. I have seen suspects rearrested at the front of the courtroom. That is after they have satisfied their bail and all of that. Then the next thing, they step out now, they are rearrested. Or they go to court, the prosecution comes to say that this matter, no, we no go do again. They step out immediately and they are rearrested. Yes, there are reasons that the investigating body may adopt such a protocol, but they also are human rights matters. And again, I believe that the Venerable Appiah knows that, and he knows that he's to fight these matters as human rights matters, and not necessarily by spilling state secrets. I believe he knows.
We'll see how this all unfolds, but Sixtus, run us through the new publisher, please, and then I'll get into the News Center newspaper. Of course, we're making way for all of your calls this morning on Community Voices, so do get ready. I'll plug the phone numbers in due course.
We spoke about guns, right?
That's right.
So on the front page of the new publisher newspaper, hide nothing, fear nothing, it says, police arrest traveler with guns, bullets, and ganja.
Okay.
What a mix. Transparency questioned in Sawam MCE's confirmation. I beg you, indulge me. Let me try to read this story. I think we've seen this headline before. I don't know whether Monday or Tuesday. 25-year-old man Yusuf Mohammed has been arrested after being caught with a large stash of guns and bullets near the Sankari police barrier in the Ashanti region. His arrest on May 8 happened thanks to the alertness of the public and a fortunate series of events. According to a police statement, Mohammed was traveling aboard an Accra-bound bus from Kumasi when his backpack bag fell off the vehicle near the police checkpoint. When your enemies are chasing you. The incident raised immediate attention, prompting police officers on duty to investigate. When questioned, Mohammed claimed ownership of the bag, which led to a thorough search, revealing the alarming collection of items. Inside the bag, officers found a total of 207 rounds of ammunition, including rounds for a CZ, G3, and AK-47 rifles. Included 2 loaded G3 magazines, along with a BB round and other rounds of CZ. And more troubling was the discovery of a quantity of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp. Further inspection uncovered an array of items that seemed to point to suspicious intent. Among the findings were 2 smocks embedded with talismans, a bulletproof vest, military jackets, trousers, and boots, as well as a crash helmet. The items, coupled with the ammunition, raised concerns about the suspect's potential involvement in criminal activity. It is not a small collection, so they are investigating it. The other one I want to read for you is also on page 2 of the paper. Transparency questioned in Sawam MC is confirmation. I think they have made the news yesterday also. Yesterday and today they have been in the news. That's a storm of controversy hit the Nsawam Ejejiri Municipal Assembly on Monday, May 12th, as Fami Selom Philbert, President Mohammed's nominee and 2-time national NDC parliamentary candidate, was confirmed as MC under disputed and dramatic circumstances. What was supposed to be a democratic confirmation process instead turned into a scene of intimidation, disputed vote tallies, and alleged disregard for constitutional procedures, drawing harsh criticisms from opposition leaders and local stakeholders. The member of parliament for the area, Anodompre, he was there. I'm trying to look for the part of the story that mentions him. Okay, so a former NDC candidate for the area in both 2020 and 2024 elections, his political career has been marked by accusations of inciting violence and deep rivalry with incumbent MP Frank Anodompre of the NPP. His 2024 parliamentary defeat ended in court ruling that confirmed Anodompre's victory. That bitter political history laid the foundation for the tension and suspicion surrounding his nomination as MCA. Journalists were ordered to vacate the voting hall, raising early suspicion of lack of transparency. According to accounts from multiple assembly insiders and observers, 42 members were scheduled to vote on the nominee. The voting proceeded behind closed doors. Reports not independently verified. Okay, so we can't be talking about that. But they've been in the news, and it is not good.
All right, let me take you to the News Center newspaper. This is what the front page has to say. Dr. Ajay wins Lifetime Africa Achievement Millennium Excellence Award. Some over 80 billion cedis debt chokes energy sector. President Mahama assures payments by 2026. Now, $2 million sky trains. Appiah-Ampofo Asamoah face trial. And you've got the pictures here of Professor Christopher Appiah-Ampofo as well as Solomon Asamoah. That story is captured on page 4. Many of you were asking about updates on some of these scandals that rocked the nation in the past. The $2 million SkyTrain saga has reared its head again. And this one, I'll get into the details. Minority raises red flag over presidential power vacuum. The minority is asking, the president wasn't around. Vice president, we're told, is still recovering in the UK. And the Speaker of Parliament, they're asking, where is he? Also, fourth in command for IC would be the CJ. They're asking, is the acting CJ able to take over as it were? Now, the minority caucus of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, in Parliament has launched a scathing attack on the government over what it describes as a flagrant and dangerous violation of Ghana's 1992 constitution. The group condemned the simultaneous absence from the country of the President John Dramani Mahama, Vice President Madam Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, and the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, without the formal swearing in of an acting president as required by law. In a strongly worded statement issued in Accra, the NPP minority accused the Mahama-led administration of disregarding the constitutional order, warning that such actions threaten the very foundations of democratic governance in Ghana. According to the statement signed by Mr. John Darko, legal counsel to the Minority Caucus and Member of Parliament for Suame, the president is currently in Togo attending the African Union Debt Conference, while Vice President is in the United Kingdom undergoing medical treatment. The Speaker of Parliament, who by constitutional mandate should act as president in the absence of the two, is also outside of the jurisdiction on an undisclosed official assignment. The situation, the minority argues, leaves the nation effectively leaderless at the highest level of executive authority, a condition the 1992 Constitution explicitly prohibits. Sixtus, have you followed this particular conversation?
Yes. And I believe we will get into it when we have heard from our people. We will get into it. It's an interesting constitutional conversation that is never going away, and it didn't start today. The courts have pronounced on it, and that pronouncement of the court has been called into question by a good number of people, lawyers and watchers of our legal and democratic development space. So I believe that we are still learning as we form, reform, reshape our democracy. It's an interesting conversation.
Absolutely.
That we'll get into.
We'll break it down and also look at the particular provisions that spell out what should happen in the absence of the President, Vice Speaker, and even CJ. And we'll all be getting some much needed education on this one. Time check, it is some 20 minutes past the hour of 7. Lace your boots. We're going on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take your calls. We call it Community Voices. You too can have your say this morning. It is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.